Quickly, this is your job to get your lines. The very first thing, you can see there's 4 boxes up here. These are the equations you're going to be graphing the lines for. Your job is going to be, it says circle 3, and I want you to cross off 3, and I want you to put 4. And underline, please, circle 4 linear equations in each box. That's your job. So we're going to be graphing 16 lines. 16 lines. So we're changing that to 4. Now let's talk about our lines really quickly. Look at the first box. They're all x equals a number. So what kind of lines are they going to graph? Vertical. Yeah, x equals. Will you draw a big vertical line in that box? So all 4 of those equations, whichever ones you choose, they will all be vertical lines. So on your graph, you're going to have 4 vertical lines throughout your graph. So you graph all 4 of those. The second box are all y equals. What kind of lines are they? Horizontal. So draw a horizontal line in there. All 4 of those that you choose are going to be horizontal. So you'll have 4 horizontal lines running through your graph. So these 8 lines will not require a table. You're not going to need to make a table because you can just graph x equals -1, right? You don't need a table to graph it. You don't need more points. But the last 2 boxes are normal slanted lines. You will need to make tables for those. So above those 2, will you please write make tables for these 2 boxes? You're choosing 4 equations in each. You can pick any of the 4 you want to, but they will all need tables. On your tables, the instructions say, complete each table, will you underline this, with at least 3 ordered pairs. But now the trick is, you have to be super careful with the x's you choose because the graph we're using only goes to 10 and -10. So you've got to pick wisely. For example, if I choose the equation 4x plus 8, so all 4 in the 3rd box and the 4th box, you need to make a table for and write their equation on the line. This one says to find my y values, I'm going to do 4 times my x and add 8. So what if I choose 1? What's 4 times 1? Plus 8. That is not going to fit on my graph. So I can't even use 1. You need to pick some numbers that will give you y values that are 10 or between 10 and -10. So what x values might help me get there? Negative, yeah. 0 will work for sure. -1, -2. Because 0 times 4 is 0 plus 8 is 8. 4 times -1 is -4 plus 8 is 4. 4 times -2 is -8 plus 8 is 0. And those will fit. Those 3 ordered pairs will fit on my graph and connect to make that line. So you got to choose wisely when you're creating your tables. When you pick your x's, they've got to generate y's that are between 10 and -10, or they won't fit. Questions on that much? Okay, so you're going to have 4 vertical lines, 4 horizontal lines. 4, these are all positive direction, moving upward. These are all negative lines, so 4 positive, 4 negative. You'll have a total of 16 on your graph. Now, when you get to the graph, a couple of things you want to be sure to do. When you graph your line, you need to use your ruler and make sure the line goes all the way across the box. Your verticals need to go from top to bottom, horizontals left to right. The slanted ones got to go from one edge of the box to the other edge of the box. And then, once you graph your line, the instructions say to write the equation neatly. Will you underline that? Write the equation neatly on each line that you graph. So you can kind of see them on this one. This one's really good. Once you graph your line, you're just gonna write its equation right on it. And you can see if you have a Sharpie or a black pen, it really helps the lines to stand out and the equations to stand out. That's not mandatory, but that's kind of a nice thing. So tomorrow, if you have a Sharpie at home that you would like to bring or a black pen, that really helps make everything stand out super nice. That's not a bad idea to do. So that really helps. Okay, so let me kind of show you your job on the graph. So you're gonna have, these are already on here. That's okay. You're gonna have 16 lines that you're fitting on here. I'll just do that one. The first ones are all the verticals. So if I chose x equals 2, I'm gonna grab my ruler and I'm gonna come to x is 2, and I'm gonna go from the top all the way to the bottom of my graph. And then right then, I'm gonna write on there x is 2. I suggest writing the equation right after you graph it, because once you graph 2 or 3, you're gonna like, which one is which? And then you're gonna have to go back and figure it out. Write it as soon as you graph it. Then you're gonna have 4 of those. Then you move to the y equals. If you choose y equals 8, you're gonna come to the y equals 8 with your ruler and go from left to right, all the way across, and then right on there, y equals 8. 4 of those through the whole thing. Then you get to the slanted ones, the ones you made your tables with. Let me just remind myself the tables. Got 0, -1, -2. Okay, so we had 0, -1, -2, 8, 4, 4, 0. Thank you. So once you have your tables, those are 3 points making one single line. You graph them, graph 0, 8, so I come to 0, 8, put a point, -1, 4, put a point, -2, 0, put my point. Then grab your ruler, and you need to lay your ruler right along those 3 points and draw from one side of the box all the way to the other side through the 3 points. And then write the equation, y equals 4x plus 8. So line up your ruler on all 3 from your table, connect it from one side to the other side. Any questions on how to graph them and label the equation? Okay, once you have all 16, then it becomes your opportunity to color it how you would like. So four colors, you can get away with 3. This one has 4. I know there's one with 3. This one. You can get away with 3. The only restriction is I would like you not to color any 2 sections by each other the same color. 3 gets a little tricky, 4 works best, 5, whatever, works great. So just the restriction is you cannot color a section next to each other the same. But you have unlimited options of how you want to color these. Make it nice. You're in 8th grade now, I expect nice coloring. That's part of your grade. So be sure to color nicely. Color them however you so choose. Okay, any questions before we get started?